Fiery angels fell. Deep thunder rolled around their shores, burning with the fires of Orc. Good evening. It's Friday. Who needs a drink? I think we all do. Some more than others. How have you all been? Tonight we have a spicy show. Haven't had one of these in ages. A spicy one. Listen, I don't really give a shit about this pair, but a lot of you have been asking me. Nico Leonard and Roman Scharf, it seems, have fallen out. Perhaps that was a long time ago and we just didn't know, and now it's become public. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I can take a wild guess. An educated guess. None of these characters are particularly savory. There's Kieran with a PayPal. And there's another PayPal. Philip Manning. And the boys. You having a smoke and a drink, Kieran? Thanks, fellas. So, yeah. So we're going to talk about that and other things. In case you're not aware, Friday night is just like a good chin wag. Just a chat among men and women. Man, that reminds me of what quote is that? Did you get your precious photos? Someone was there. Men. Police. Men. Slide 7132. Not surprised at all. Yeah, well. Listen. There is no honor among thieves. Are any of these characters particularly nice people? I don't think so. It's only a matter of time before the dogs in the den begin to start eating each other. Sharks do bite sharks after all, says Whole Milk. Well, I guess they probably haven't been in business together for a while. Nico's moved on to other stuff, you know. His channel continues to grow. Not as big as I was expecting, actually. I had to check it. I don't pay any attention to his stuff. But I was like, I better go over to see what he's been up to. And I was expecting like 6-8 million subs or something. But it's still under 2. It's been there for a while. Still big. It's way bigger than my channel. Good for him. But, you know, he's gone on to do car stuff and golf stuff. And I didn't know about the golf. I don't give a shit about golf. Roman seems to be kind of dying, doesn't he? I don't pay much attention to him either. But even his video about Hublot and attacking Nico, essentially, he could have done the same review of Hublot without the digs against Nico. So I assume there's some bad blood there. Well, I guess there definitely is. I can't play any of this. I can show you a screenshot. a couple of screenshots, but I can't really play any of it because I don't trust that motherfucker as far as I can throw him. Or I trust him as far as I can throw him is actually really the phrase I'm looking for. Yeah. This is the video. The truth about Hublot. It's definitely a commercial. I mean, he's definitely being paid. It was actually quite detailed. I learned a lot about Hublot. I don't care about Hublot for the same reasons as everyone else. Same reasons as Nico. I don't care about them. They're overpriced, and you know, I feel like Hublot always had the their corner of the market was the guys with a ton of money, usually new money. Let's face it. Who are like, oh, finally, I want to watch. They walked into Rolex, and Rolex went, yeah, we'll put you on the list. Congratulations, you made some money. You're not the first one who's come in our door. We'll consider it. And then they go down the street to Hublot, and it's not quality watches, just it's expensive, and some of the stuff is made of gold, and it's kind of bombastic on the wrist. Honestly, my biggest gripe at Hublot is it's just trying to be AP so badly, isn't it? Isn't it? It's trying to be the AP offshore so badly. But even in that photo I'm showing right there, look at all the screws, all just pointing in different directions. Just the lack of detail. Wouldn't be bad if the watch was 1,500, 2,000, but the problem is the watches are in the tens of thousands. But anyway, it's super, super detailed, this video. He goes through some serious stuff, and I learned a couple of things, I have to say, that made me go, all right, listen. We don't like Hublot. I love the way none of them pronounce it correctly, by the way. Still today, they can't say Hublot. They have to say Hublot. Vacheron Constantin and Longines and Audemars Piguet. Which is no wonder when we all go to Watches and Wonders every year, we're ignored. We're all ignored, including Nico. A handful of people take his photo, but the poncy French there in their beautiful suits, going from French to German to Italian in their conversation. They literally don't look at us. We're the vile vermin of the watch world. We can't even fucking figure out how to say these watch brands correctly. But I can, but nobody cares what I think, right? But yeah, I learned a lot about Hublot. I was like, fuck, it's an education. He's definitely being paid. There's no way this guy prepared this video by himself, all this information. My guess, I'll just take a wild stab in the dark, which is what I'll be getting at some point soon. If this Ukrainian immigrant into America, ruthless dude, there he is, decides I'm inconvenient for him, that he was contacted, by Hublot going, hey, listen, a bit of damage control. There was a video, though, I found on Nico's channel that was like exposing the watch industry. That was from a month ago. I had no idea. I'm just catching up on all of this today. People are writing me all week going, what do you think about the rift between them? I'm like, oh, God, what are they up to? It's like watching a rat fight a scorpion. Like, who gives a shit who lives and who dies? I don't care. But just check something here. So I just went over to Nico's channel to see what the fuck has been going on over there. And I guess about a month ago, he put out a video. By the way, he put one out. He did a tier list. I'll be doing one of those soon. Everybody does one. I actually haven't done one yet. But he calls out Eventi on there. Good man. As being a scam, which I agree with. Where is... That's funny. You put in Nico Leonard and my video comes up and it suggests the one you're watching right now. Oh, the algorithm. Where is the video? Maybe he pulled it. But it's got Roman in there. It is. It's got Roman in the thumbnail. Watch expert, because that's always his thing, right? Watch expert exposes. It's a good way to get clicks. I did the same with the Trump watch, remember? See it there on the right? Watch expert exposes the truth behind the watch industry. I didn't get through the video. He doesn't actually address Roman in the first few minutes, so I just gave up. But he's in the thumbnail with the Hublot and devil's horns. So there's definitely some animosity. Well, honestly, when I first heard about this, I was thinking, they're just creating a little bit of drama just to get some clicks, That's old Blur versus Oasis. Do you remember? All of that. It's a great way to get the crowd going. Keep them interested. I thought it was that, but then on further investigation, I was like, oh no, this seems real. Seems genuine. When I woke up this morning and I, like usual, you grab your phone. One of the first things that came up in my feed was Nico there going, oh, I was just hanging with my family and then I got bombarded with all this stuff about. It's like, first of all, why the fuck is that prick coming up on my feed? Second of all, what is this about? Oh, is this the thing everybody's been asking me about? So I said, okay, let's talk about it. It'll keep me off Israel-Palestine at least, right? Anything but talk about that. I'm going to have a Monte Cristo. I went by Smoking Moses today. He wasn't there. Aldo, his wife was there. And I bought a bunch of cigars. And they have this regatta, this open regatta one, the 100-year anniversary of that regatta down there. This puppy. I've never had one. I read about them. I'm going to try. Give it a shot. How's that cut? Get text from people here. I think I missed a couple of super chats. I'm so sorry. Watch me if you can. 10 Swiss. Good evening. Some nice Barbados rum and a Romeo Giulietta cigar a couple of hours ago. Oh, good boy. What about now? We care about a couple of hours ago. We care about now. That's what we care about. We care a lot. Well, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. We care a lot. Any Faith No More fans in the crowd? Ray, super sticker, 10 euros, legend. Watch me if you can, once again. One of my favorite cigars. Currently, I smoke a lot of Toscanos, but they're not real cigars, right? Here they are here for Close Encounters, just as backup. I love some Oyo de Monterrey. That's why I went over to Oyo de Monterrey. That's why I went to Smoking Roses today in hopes. But she was like, we get so little stuff from Cuba anymore. Cuba's dead. Such bad production numbers coming out of there. Ever since COVID, they never really recovered. Most places in the world never recovered. New York's not the same since COVID. It's not the same city anymore. And everyone I asked was like, yeah, things never fully recovered. It's got a limp now. The city suffered an injury. This is nice. Medium to light. Oh, by the way, what am I wearing? Doing the pound 415. 514. However, I get it on my throat. Big pound. Big filthy Panerai. Now that Faith No More song is stuck in my head. There's your big pound for you. It's a real man's watch right there. I was watching that Nico thing and he was shooting on Panerai. I was like, fuck you. But then he shot on Venezianico. And I was like, okay, I can get with that. I'll always shit on Venezianico. He doesn't know how to pronounce it, obviously. He thinks his name is in it. Venezianico. I suppose if you break it in half, that's what it becomes. Venezianico. Originally Meccanica Veneziana. Meccanica Veneziana. Venetian machines. Or Venetian mechanics. Then a somewhat disgraced brand. A lot of people ask me that all the time. Why don't you spill the tea about Venezianico? I've said it many times before. I guess I have to put in a real video, do a real video on it. The numbers flying up now. Everybody's getting wind of what's going on. I'll give you guys a preview. This is a long format show. Okay. It's not that hard to listen to, okay? But if you want me to get to the point, goddammit, I think you might be disappointed. But in the meantime, I'll bring up interesting topics. But so in short, Roman Sharf, famous watch dealer, and Nico Leonard, the most famous watch YouTuber. I don't think you can argue with that. Whether he's actually an expert on watches or whether it's real watch content are other discussions. But you can't argue with the numbers of subscribers and the views. Mind you, the views have been a bit weaker lately, but that seems to be across the board for everyone. Perhaps that's at the root of Roman's desperation also. But anyway, the two of them are in a little feud at the moment. And I don't care how much they get their knickers in a twist over there. I don't give a flying fuck. Only that people are asking what's my opinion. And also Roman shot the bed on Instagram. And I have the screenshots courtesy of an old friend from Amsterdam who, when I was in trouble with Nico, whatever, myself and Nico were going head to head. I was contacted by this guy and he filled me in on exactly what character I was dealing with, because Nico's well known in Holland, in the Netherlands, because So most of you know he's not actually Irish, despite the thick accent. You ever see The Thing? John Carpenter? Think of that. Assimilate the size and shape of the thing you touch. No, he's Dutch, 100% Dutch. But I will say this to you, and I'll get into details in a minute. But just to give you a little preview, I'm on Nico's side. Is that bad? That's bad. I shouldn't be on Nico's side. Myself and Nico had a huge feud for a long time. He doxed me and everything. Oh, there's that brown dial watch. By the way, these are my watches. How come the numbers have gone nuts now? Oh, that's crazy. These are my new stone dial watches. They've been selling. I went to the train station today to ship out a batch, and there was a huge delay on all the trains. I think there was an accident. So I just turned around. I said, I'm not going to, at the risk of finding myself stuck on an Italian train for hours, I said, I'll come back another day because I like to ship from a guy from a different town. Sometimes I ship from Venice, but I try to avoid it because I know my guy at the other place. So that's why I went strolling, and that's why I happened to be in Canareggio near my favorite cigar guy. Yeah, I come out on Nico's side in the end, and let me tell you something. I actually contacted him earlier tonight. I haven't spoken to that guy in a very long time. I ran into him in Dublin, and we didn't talk about the war. We didn't once mention the war. We talked about kids. He had a kid and his wife, I assume. Girlfriend, wife, I don't know. Assume his wife. Was already expecting another. It's quite typical, actually. The female, the body is ultra fertile after it gives birth. Isn't that terrible? Poor women. I feel bad for them. Fucking nature just running, just pushing against them all the time. God help them. Imagine that. You finally get through that whole ordeal and you get fucking pregnant again. Not to put down his situation. I'm just saying, sorry. That sounds bad. No, I just mean, I'd hate to, woman's finally, okay, I can finally get my body back in order and in shape. And then boom. Anyway, I digress. So we just kept on that subject. Because I have kids too. They're a lot older. But it's a good way to avoid talking about the elephant in the room. So that's what we did, and we shook hands. We went about our merry ways. I was in no mood to bring up the war, and neither was he. We're both pretty tired of it. Let me take off the pan for a second. Oh, it's too sexy, though. I'll put it back on in a minute. I'll put on this stone dial. These have been selling well. I'm surprised. And the marble ones are going to be sold out because it turns out marble is just way too expensive to cut and put into a watch dial. So anybody who got in on the marble, I think there's 2 or 3 left. You guys are going to have a rare thing. But this is the Tiger Eye. It's gorgeous. So yeah. Let me see who's talking in the crowd. Watch me if you can. You're come flying in with lots of super chats, so I can't ignore you, my friend. That's one way of sharing your 2 cents. Lucky in Switzerland, we have still a good supply of Cuban cigars here, but yes, it's less than before. Oh, is that a fact? I heard that the Swiss tariffs now are being lowered to, I believe it's 15% instead of 39%. That's fresh off the press. News within the past few hours, I believe. So that's good. I guess they went over and had a meeting. Softened up old Donny boy. Old Donny boy. The files are calling. That guy's days are numbered, man. It's coming out. It's coming out. It was a shame to see the Dems cave, like they always do, because the Dems are fucking miserable. It's not a fucking political party. Those guys are a joke. Anyway, it was a shame to see them cave, but now that things are back online, everyone's back to work again, getting paid again. It's time to get back to what we were talking about. The files. Assume this. The Epstein files are grotesque. They're worse than you think. Assume that. Guys, these guys are men of power. They have money. They can get a prostitute. They can sleep with a woman whenever they want. They have power. They don't even need a prostitute. When Donnie said that time famously, you can grab them by the, it was disgusting that he would say it, but it's not untrue. It's kind of true when you're a super celebrity. Super celebrities can people get all melty around them. It's kind of true. The fact that he said it, it just seems like a fucking child. But that doesn't mean it's not true. They don't need to go to some crazy island to get up to their stuff. They can do it anywhere. If they're going to get into some crazy ring, some sex ring, it's to get up to some really heinous shit. So you can assume, first of all, if you don't think he's in the files, you're an idiot. Of course he is. They're all in it. They're all in the files. Every last one of them. And he's definitely in there. Otherwise, he'd be bending over backwards to fucking release them. And don't give me that shit like, why didn't the Biden administration? Well, they were under lock and key then. There is a thing called the law, by the way. there's a. I know you've forgotten about that because there hasn't been much sign of it, of like regular statutes and the upholding of habeas corpus, etc., in the United States in the past while. But originally, that was the idea. It was a country of laws. Anyway, he's definitely in there. We know. Assume it's really, really bad. I'm hearing weird rumors. I know there's a lot of them are stupid. But one I liked was Jacob Berger, that Jewish police officer from New York. He's brilliant. I follow him on Instagram. He's so funny. There's some rumor that somewhere in the thousands of emails, because that so far that's all that's been released, not the files, but the emails are dribbling out first, and they don't look good. That Donald gave Bill Clinton a blowjob. I know it sounds nuts, right? Don't think it's. Have you ever seen Sexy Beast? You ever seen that movie? Teddy Bess goes along and meets the big hotshot bank manager. Boys or girls? Oh, yes, definitely. Then they cut to a wild, sweaty scene that just lasts for a moment. All these guys get up to crazy shit, and you can assume if they're in files, if it had to happen on an island, the sex isn't illegal, and hiring a prostitute isn't either. And even, I mean, grabbing a woman by her parts is definitely assault. You should be arrested immediately. But boasting about it, as unsavory as it is, isn't really illegal unless you're talking about some specific event and you're admitting to something. We can assume the files are rough. That's why they want to keep a cap on it. Because even the MAGA cult guys, even the guys who don't care about the tariffs, they don't care about ICE, they don't care, they love it all. And Donnie's their hero. This is gonna be too much. The old I can stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone, they'll still vote for me, which was kind of almost true. Even that is going to pale in comparison. Just look at any photo of Kash Patel before he became director of the FBI and compare it with a photo of Kash Patel now. Look at his eyes. He's seen the files. They're brutal. There is sodomy. There's Sodom and Gomorrah, if you want me to get biblical, political, polemic, and biblical all at once. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. So expect donkeys and dildos and all the wildest shit you could possibly think of. Expect it. Want to know where my money is? He's going to stand down because he's tired or he's a little ill or whatever. He can make up whatever and go play golf. He's made his billions. He's done what he wanted to do. And he'll hand it over to Vance, who will marry that fucking psychopath bitch, Erica Kirk. That crazy, calculated psycho. They'll dump the Indian Hindu wife. And that'll be that. That's where my money is. You heard it here first. And trust me, when it happens, I'll fucking tell you I told you. So I won't let that opportunity pass me by. Watch me if you can. Another 10. I love that you're not afraid of touching topics that you're talking 100% honest about. Oh, yeah, well, that's me, man. Fuck that. I'm definitely going next year to Geneva. I have a pint with you. Files are rough on many politicians. Oh, yeah. Why do you think we haven't seen them yet? Ray, cycling home. Bike is drunk. Ah, it's the bike, isn't it? Yeah. Damn bike. Drinking too much. Well, thank God you're there cycling it, Ray, so you can keep it sober. Keep it on the straight and narrow on the way home. Yes. So, what do you guys think? You think it's all going to go down in flames? Some pretty wild shit going on. I feel we're at a turning point. The whole influence of AIPAC and so on is beginning to crack down the middle. Both sides are kind of moving in on it for different reasons, but doesn't really matter. What matters is the fact that they're moving in on it. It's wild. But expect something crazy to happen. That's what I would say. Expect some sort of attack or some sort of bombing or something. Hate to say it. Some terrorizers. It's the terror. Expect something like that to happen to distract you all. That's how you do it. It's an old trick. There's more light, by the way. Is that better? You're like, no, we don't need to see you anymore. Yeah. Distractions are very important, guys. Without distractions, we don't get to operate in the way that we would like. London Rob, you're on form, top man. Am I? Just the rants? You like the rants, don't you? Friday night rants. Hope you have a drink. Hope at least you've got a drink and a smoke to show for it. Gonna listen to this scruffy Irishman for another hour or two, an hour and a half. All right, well, come on. We'll talk about Nico and Roman. Why was I contacted? Well, if some of you don't know, but I had my own skirmishes, you might call them, with both Nico and Roman. In particular, Nico. The details are far too numerous to really go over. I'm sure most of you know all of that shit. You don't need to hear it all again. But it would seem that there's a bit of a scuff between them. And then Roman, now I heard a lot of stuff back at the time when I was kind of facing down Nico and other characters, by the way. It kind of pulled a lid off a ton of a can of worms, you know. I'm kind of glad it happened. It wasn't a very nice moment in my life, to be honest. I was very stressed. And it splintered the whole watch world, I think, to a certain degree. But it was also very enlightening for a lot of people, because we saw the mask came off with a lot of these characters. And the true nature of these watch dealers was revealed. So there was kind of a war waged. Stuff went down. I was contacted by a lot of people going, I know that dude. I know that dude before he was on YouTube. Seems he's fairly infamous in Holland. And then a ton of other stuff came out about Roman and his affiliations and so on. And he was protecting, at the time, he was protecting Nico. He was the first to do so, actually. And turns out he was protecting another guy called the Wizard. That's what we called him. Stefano. Who was also a kind of a dodgy character. The difference with Stefano is he ran away into the shadows once he was exposed. Other characters didn't. So you know, it's a testament to your character. What kind of person are you when you get exposed? Do you just run away? You just sit in the house with the shades drawn till it all blows over? Or do you go out there brazen and continue in broad daylight? So, yeah. So, just to be clear, I'm not friends really with either I mean, I did talk to Nico that night, but for me, we kept it superficial. We talked about kids, having kids. He showed me photos of his newborn. We kept it light. I was there with another guy, another friend, and my other friend was actually like, I can't believe this is happening. He comes along to me, be at the bar, and there I am standing outside the bar with Nico Leonard. He's like, okay, they're two massive YouTubers and they hate each other. What the fuck? Like, he was in shock, He was kind of, stiff. And, but we kept it light, whatever. For the greater good. It's best that we did. Otherwise, it would have gotten nasty, probably. So we just did it, went ahead like gentlemen. But that was that. I never spoke to him again. And it's not like, I'm not sure either of us have buried the hatchet, so to speak. But time goes by and you have to move on with your life. And that's what I did. I assume that's what he did too. And honestly, had that whole situation not happened, we probably would have been buddies. Myself and Nico were buddies before that. There was a lot of jealousy toward Nico when he arrived on the scene because he really exploded so quickly. At the time, I was mates with Adrian Barker and Paul Thorpe and people like that. And there was so much jealousy toward him. And I didn't have any of that. I was like, yeah, whatever. He's doing it right. Little 3-minute fast videos. He's funny. He's yelling at the camera. People love that shit. Even people who don't care about watches love that shit. And he's clearly got a big media machine behind him who are probably taking most of the profits, but he doesn't care, And I never had that issue. I don't get that kind of feeling. At the time, I thought he was Irish. I didn't know he was Dutch. So I was a little bit like, up the Irish, good for him. But also, I also didn't try to ride his coattails or ambulance chase in any way. A lot of people did, including Roman, which is kind of why I want to talk about this. Because I don't feel like Roman is really in the position to criticize anyone. But myself and Nico wound up on a stream. At the time, he was doing a live stream once every couple of weeks. And he'd go on for 7-8 hours, like really, really long ones, and then delete them immediately. Smart. And I wound up on one with him. And the two of us being big boozers, Everyone else got tired and fell off. And then it was eventually just me and him fucking laughing our asses off till like 7 a.m. And then I saw him at the London Watch Show. And we had a good old laugh there too. I never felt any kind of competition or anything like that. I always felt like our crowds were very different anyway. Somewhat overlapping, but not really. And if someone is going to get jealous of that guy, why not get jealous of some kid who's got like 17 million followers, 54 million followers, or why are you homing in on this particular one? I don't get it. Anyway, there's London Rob of £20. Yes, you're on form. This is a real shit talk night. David Wizard was a stand-up guy. Who knows where that guy is now? Did he finally have the heart attack he was dying from for 20 years? That's how he softened me up, man, on the phone, going on about his heart attack. Little did I know. He's just playing me. Jim, where is that? Oh no, please and thank you, Adrian Barker. If a coffee shop was a person, yeah, it's lukewarm tea, right? I like Adrian. He's not too bad. He makes nice content. He's good with a camera. Adrian Barker's just kind of mad. We're all shitting on Adrian Barker now. Yeah. Watch me if you can. Adrian Berker's okay. I like his videos. Hey, he was doing it before a lot of us. Yeah, it can be a bit like watching paint dry sometimes. I'm not going to lie. It would be disingenuous of me to walk the higher ground and do all of that nonsense. Let's call a spade a spade. You know, life's fucking short. But yeah. So let me pull up these little rants. Where are they? Are they in my email? They are. Oh, look, I called the email Roman rant. And at first I was reading it going, oh God, what's going on? Is he having a bad day or whatever? And then it just got more, it got more and more detailed. And I was like, ooh. So anyway, they got into a little spat. Nico posted a video just sitting on his couch with his newborn yelling in the background or whatever. And he was like, I don't know what the hell's going on here, you know. Just kind of did a shrug my shoulders kind of thing, like, which I assume pissed Roman off even more. So this is the first one. Since you deleted my comment on your video, let's post it here, Mister. I'm trying, quote unquote, I'm trying to enjoy my day off, which is something that Nico said in the video. Playing the victim card. Funny coming from someone who talks shit about others for clicks. Well, that's kind of true. That's Nico's shtick, isn't it? Fair enough. Used to look up to me, or maybe I should say that you used me. That's exactly what happened. So how do we get here? You went from watch dealer to watch influencer, still not sure where the expert thing came from, in parentheses. Then to car influencer. And now a golf influencer. Is he really a golf influencer now? And so don't give me the same crap you give everyone else in your path. That's an indictment. You come in as a friend, quote unquote, get what you need and move on. That sounds like pretty much everyone in the watch world to me, but okay. Why is he shocked? So this is part 2. As I said to your face, and I'll say it publicly, friendo. He should have just said friendo. You are a people user in full caps. I guess he lent on the caps lock for that moment. Doesn't know what an exclamation mark is. And the word integrity is not part of your vocabulary. There's a long word for him. Don't call me Larry. You have a large vocabulary. Don't call me Larry. Funny, I don't see you with the car guys anymore. So he was with the car guys and now he's not. So what's he implying there? That Nico shit the bed over there with those guys too? Funny you didn't show up to the gumball this year either. So stick to being funny, quote unquote. He keeps putting the comma after after the quotation marks anyway, because you were really good at it. Hats off to you. I wish I could punctuate this guy's little ramblings, but we both know what you really are in the industry. A joke. At least you use the colon properly. He could use the semicolon, but a colon's fine. Sorry, I'm getting into grammar Nazi here. There's a few more of these. Okay, this is when it starts to get spicy. You and I both know the truth about what I did for you in the beginning of your career. I think everybody knows. Yet every time I reached out and needed help, Nico was a ghost. Nico only called when Nico needed something for Nico. Like the $12,000 you borrowed and said you'd give right back. I avoid drama. We're not believing that, Roman, especially reading this. But I took your last video personally. It was the cherry on the top of everything else that has happened these last couple of years. So this has been boiling under the surface for a while. I kind of knew that, but anyway. I treated you like family, and as many people warned me, you used me like a dirty rag and moved on. This sounds like an ex-girlfriend, doesn't it? I guess that's what I get for being a nice guy. Okay. There are two more, but let me just stop right there because we're all having a drink and a smoke. Need to ingest and digest, correct? Okay. First of all, there was no charity, and this is why I'm coming out on Nico's side of things, okay? There's no charity on the part of Roman Sharf. Roman, I remember it all like, yes, I was there to witness it all. I met these guys. I met Roman. I hung out with Roman, had dinner with Roman in London. I met Nico. He was at the dinner too. He had digestion issues or something. Acid reflux or something. I know these characters. And I remember when there were certain people coming into the watch space and really surpassing everyone. They were passing everybody by very quickly. I was the first to kind of like go from like 100 subscribers to like 30,000 really quickly. I remember I was the new kid on the block and everyone was talking about me. But that paled in comparison to when like Jenny L came on. Jenny L went from like 600 subscribers to like 300,000 like so quickly. It was crazy. She crushed everyone. It was amazing. And I guess she's kind of, it's dried up there for her, unfortunately. But she had her moment, and that's fantastic. Everybody has their moment. Nico was one of those. And so was anybody in the class? Who else was one of those? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count as to who I'm thinking of. TPG. TPG came along and kind of exploded on the scene, and he was the hot shit. So there was Nico and there was TPG. And some guys who were out there doing it for a while, but crawling up by 100 subs a week or 50 subs a week and doing everything they can to get attention. It stuck in their craw to see these other guys pass them on the highway so quickly. Newbies, you know. Some guys just carried away from it. I remember Adrian Barker telling me that he had to actually tell YouTube, like in the selection on YouTube, to block Nico's videos, that he just, you know. But he was also curious about how Nico did it. And some others said, okay, I'm going to attach myself to this guy. I'm going to be his best buddy. I'm going to be seen with him in photos. I'm going to do business with him in the watch world. I'm going to get up close to this guy as much as I can to rub shoulders so that maybe some of his magic dust, his fairy dust, will rub off on me. Roman was the dude doing that. He did it with TPG and he did it with Nico. Like he was practically blowing them off. It was kind of pathetic to watch, actually. But he was doing everything he could to ingratiate himself with these new kids on the block who were now getting huge viewer numbers and so on. Strategy, I suppose, you know, fine. But I remember thinking it's so disingenuous because say what you want about Roman, but he's been around a lot for a long time. He's a serious watch dealer. Whether he can be trusted or not is a whole other conversation. But He really knows his watches and he really knows the watch dealing world. TPG was a complete wet around the ears dude, completely new to the scene. There's no reason why an experienced, seasoned watch dealer would ever have a guy like TPG in the room unless there was something that guy had. And that was his subscribers and his view count. And it was the same with Nico. Nico's somewhat of a charlatan. We can all agree on that. But he talks a big game and all of that, and it works. And he has, a big popularity on YouTube. So Roman was all with his tongue up their anuses as much as he could. So now that like the shit has finally hit the fan, he's like, you used me. I'm like, fuck off. There's the world's smallest violin playing just for you. You knew what you were getting into. You're a big boy, right? And this stuff about the $12,000, so he's implying he loaned him money. I heard about a lot more money than that behind the scenes. I was still mates with Paul Thorpe back in the day, remember? Myself and Paul were, fairly confidant between the two of us. I heard plenty. I heard plenty from my Dutch friends about what was really going on behind the scenes between this pair. So I'm looking at it going, oh God, you knew what you were getting into. What the fuck is your problem now? Well, you think this person is a saint? You think this is a genuine human being? Neither are you. It's like a shark going up to another shark going, hey, you keep biting people. Yeah, that's what we do. It's kind of our job. Swim and eat and make little sharks. Right. Let's continue. What's the next one? And your first day off this year, give me a break. So, because Nico said in the video that it was his first day off this year. You spend more time playing golf than working. Roman, that sounds like your deity, Mr. Trump, who spends more time playing golf than working. So I'm not surprised it resonates with you. You're barely in the office, and that's not coming from me. Ooh. So he's got the inside scoop from the boys in Belfast. So do I, by the way. I was in Belfast last year, motherfuckers. And I spoke to a great many people. I know the scoop going on in Belfast. That's from your own staff. So his own staff, he's saying there that his own staff have been bad-mouthing Nico to Roman. Pretty sad when they're the ones complaining about their boss. But at the end of the day, I love they all say that. At the end of the day, I'm going to make a t-shirt for the entire watch community. At the end of the day, sorry, but at the end of the day, I'm still that nice guy. Really? You're really? Okay. So I still wish you the best. Oh my God. Backpedal time. Hope this golf thing works out for you and you enjoy your first day off. Okay. That's the equivalent of have a good day. To my followers, apologies. Well, he didn't use a colon there. Why could he use a colon before or semicolon? Now he doesn't use one. Okay. Apologies for the outburst. You never hear me talk negatively about anything or anyone. While perhaps selfish, but this has been a long time coming, and I felt I needed to clear the air back to our regular scheduled program. I know for a fact there was a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. I was privy to it all back then. I was hearing everything. I was getting phone calls all day long from people. and info from people. And yes, basically, to put it quite simply, Roman, who's a very experienced watch dealer and is in a kind of a debtor creditor situation with many other dealers that he trusts, took in people like TPG and Nico because they had this newfound popularity on the internet. If they didn't have that, he would have never given them the time of day. Let's be clear about that. He's not a stupid man. And then he became privy to the lending and the borrowing and so on. So I heard all about a scene in London where there was shouting and so on, where there was watches loaned to Nico, blah, 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 and then a quarrel over the profits that were made and so on. So apparently there was all sorts of dirty shenanigans going on behind the scenes. But Roman, being somewhat professional, kind of plays his cards close to his chest. He keeps it off the air. He doesn't want to make it public, because making things like that public will instill a fear in the industry, in the gray market. And then fewer of you guys will buy the watches. So he sees it as bad for business. It's like the scene in Casino, Why didn't you just take the kitchen guy's job? You had to take the entertainment job. Whereas he could have just been the head of the food and kitchen or whatever, It's bad for business making it all public and talking about it. But I guess that it's kind of been, boiling under the surface now for a while. And perhaps they don't have much to do with each other anymore. And then Nico takes a cheap shot at Roman and about the industry, and puts Roman into his thumbnail and stuff like that. And now just pissed off Roman. Also, business can't be great, right? Lately in the watch space. Loads in the room. Give me enough vote, guys, if you're enjoying it. Or downvote if you hate me. Hey, I'm just on the sidelines here, guys. I'm like you guys. I'm the casual observer. In fact, in a moment, I'm going to read what you guys think about this, because most of you guys know both of these characters pretty well. Watch me if you can. You're just coming in heavy all night with the Swiss francs. Summary: Roman is immature writing such novels, putting all his anger on Nico instead of doing some self-reflection and simply letting things go. That's the way I see it. I have to commend Roman to a certain degree that he kind of kept it all bottled up this long, because from what I heard 3 years ago, there was plenty to complain about back then, but he just kept it under wraps because, again, doing otherwise would be bad for business. But from what I heard, Nico was somewhat exasperating in his methods. And I wasn't the only person I heard that from. There was a list of like 100 people I heard that from, including some partners of his. When I remember explaining my situation to his right-hand man, a chap named Stephen, he didn't sound surprised. This guy, Stephen, I can't remember his last name. He sounded exasperated. It sounded like Nico was kind of a hot item because he was so popular, but that came with a price. I remember when I came over to Italy back in 2017, 2018, before I found an apartment in Vicenza. Actually, I moved in with the doctor first, and then I found an apartment after that, because she had a massive place. But before that, I was staying on in a friend's house. He had a nice big place that he inherited from his mother. Mario. He was one of my favorite guys, actually. But he was a little bit of a character, personaggio, as they say here. And he was a big drunk. And he's the kind of guy who would say something very inappropriate at dinner to a woman or something. We'd all be like, oh, Jesus, Mario. Let's take him home. Let's take Mario home. He was like that. But he had a spare bedroom, and he was like, oh, you can use it anytime you want. So I was staying in this place for a few weeks while I got myself sorted. And I was at a restaurant one night, and they were asking, the restaurateur came over, and he was talking to me, and they were like, yeah, well, she's looking for a place right now. And where are you staying right now? And I said, I'm over with Mario. And I said, that's decent. It's nice. I mean, the only problem, and he goes, the only problem is Mario. I'm like, yeah, that's if Mario wasn't there, it would be perfect. The problem is he does arrive in at 3 a.m. with cocaine and hookers when I'm trying to sleep. Yes. He is pretty fucking wild. So getting back, that was just a complete tangent because it's Friday fucking night. Who cares? I felt like I got this distinct feeling that the Nico thing, everybody who had anything to do with him, we're working with this guy because he is popular and he has a voice and he is out there. The only problem is him. We have to deal with him. And that's a day-to-day pressure and a problem, Apparently the guys at Pride and Pinion are like, oh God, the boss is coming over today. Fuck, It's not good news when he's around because he'll yell at everyone and make a scene and be loud and cause trouble and etc. etc. So he's a bit of a tornado of a guy. I think that's been proven, or at least from my perspective, it has. But I feel like a guy like Roman, he's ready to tame any animal at the circus, if it's good for business. He's ready to grab the horns of any bull and wrestle it to the ground if it means he's going to get more views, more attention to his channel and his business and so on. But I guess it just is eventually just, it's entropy, man. I've been talking about entropy since back then. It doesn't matter how beautiful a sandcastle you build on the beach. It doesn't matter how gorgeous it is. The natural position of all those grains of sand is flat. And that's entropy. Eventually, the tide will come in and wash that thing and put all those grains of sand back to where they're supposed to be. That's entropy. It's the inevitable decay of things back to their natural position or their natural place, like Newton wrote about, right? So it's just kind of it's a matter of time. It's like when you have a crazy girlfriend and she's fucking driving you nuts and you eventually walk out that door. You got to remind yourself, man, the next dude she meets, it'll only be a matter of time before the sandcastle gets washed back into place again. She'll do the same shit with the next dude, maybe worse. Things are going to get worse, nurse. Things are going to get dismal. It's the funny thing about karma, Sometimes all you have to do is stand back and watch it happen. People tend to, if they fucked up with you, they're going to fuck up with the next guy. Tends to be the case with people. Last time I was in Belfast, I heard plenty. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. But again, I'm still coming out on Nico's side because we know the beast that is Nico. It's not his fault that that's the way he is. It's our fault if we give him any oxygen. It's like Trump for me. I don't mind Trump at all as a guy. He's a bit of a pig, but I know lots of pigs. I don't have an issue with Trump. I have an issue with the people who checked that box when they were voting. They're the problem, not Trump himself. He's just trying to get ahead and swindle everyone. Good for him. Fucking swindle away, dude. He's pretty brazen about it. At least you can hand it to him in that regard. He's pretty honest. I remember the last meltdown when he announced the tariffs and the fucking Dow Jones hit the bricks and the fucking economy fell apart for a week, and then it came back because he said, I'm just kidding. And then he's in the Oval Office going, you made 900 million, you made 800 million. It's like, it's right there. Playing a game. Good for him. He's not the problem. The problem is the fucking inbreds would vote for the guy. They're the problem. So it's the same thing with Nico. He's clearly a lunatic. You can see it in the videos. Why are you surprised now that he used you, Roman? He took what he wanted, what he needed, and then he walked. Are you butthurt now? You gave him oxygen. You and many others. Somewhere out there are violins playing for you, but I can't hear them from here. And watch me if you can again. Oh, you did that. Okay, so let me work back. Shane, good judgment on your part on the Dutch guy. Yeah, well, I heard a lot. I heard a lot from two individuals in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, those individuals didn't have the stuff to do it, as you say, because they told me a lot of stuff. Because they're like, we know who that guy is, and he ran out of here and moved to Belfast and assumed a whole new identity. But we all know who he is. And I'm like, well, why don't you fucking tell anyone then? You warriors full of courage. Oh, well, no, I don't want to get involved. I'm like, oh, wow. There's the spirit that beat the Japanese. Fucking hell. Not. And I'm like, well, I can't exactly say all this stuff to everyone if you're not going to corroborate, because then it'll just sound like I'm making it up. Hang up the phone and say, oh, great. So Nico's out there bullying everyone, doing everything he wants to do, getting away with blue murder. And those who oppose him are a pack of fucking cowards. Good. Great. Well, in that case, good for Nico. Yeah, I heard crazy stuff. And I repeated some of it because there were a lot of live streams, and I was on Tim Wright's channel and all talking about this stuff. So I did come out with some of it. And then Nico went for me at the throat. He hired a lawyer right here in Italy and tried to get me for defamation. I shit you not. Aggressive dude. Don't suspect when you realize you're dealing with a pretty wild character. Never make the mistake of thinking that exposing them is going to stop them. You know, it's like the Israel thing now. The whole world is finally waking up. I've been sitting around for 30 years waiting for everyone to figure that one out. I'm over here in the corner eating cake going, have you all figured it out? Yeah, no, take all the time you need, guys. I'll just be here eating cake. Finally, everyone's fucking coming to. But don't think that that's going to stop them. Now they're going to get harder. There's a very fucking brutal entity. They will come at you. They will kill you. They will kill you. Ask Charlie Kirk. Some people believe that. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe. But you have to remember that the pig squeals and kicks and screams the most when it's being gutted. That's when you're most in danger. When you're finally moving in on the perpetrator, on the cancer. Imagine a doctor cutting someone open in a operating theater to cut out the cancer, and in that moment, the cancer tries to infect the doctor while he's at it, or tries to, cut his hand off or something. That doesn't happen, but imagine it did. That's what we're dealing with. So when you discover a nefarious character, that's the start of your problem. Exposing them is the second thing you can do. Now they're going to start getting dirty and fighting. So you better be ready. Ask Hamas. Think those fuckers don't know what they're up against? While the rest of the world watches and sings Kumbaya, they're like, yeah, we're on the ground. We have to deal with this shit day to day. We don't have the luxury of singing Kumbaya. These guys are killing us and raping us and laughing while they do it. You think they're going to go quietly? Like the wizard disappear off into the shadows? No. Now things get bloody. They're not going to let go of their little funny experiment easily. You watch them get filthy now. Same thing, just a micro version. Stav Kim, Roman has basically stopped his YouTube content, which is shady. Most of his workers disappeared over years. Oh, Roman is he's a very shady dude. You have to remember as well, the wizard was enabled by Roman. I had words with Mondani here, Georgia, in Italiano. Back then, because she has a kind of a trusted dealer list. The Mondanis are historic over here for watch dealing. And the wizard's little company was on that list. And I reached out to her. I said, hey, because we had been speaking before, we were going to do an episode together. We never got around to it. In Genoa. But I was like, hey, listen, not for nothing, but this dude has been exposed and he's on your trusted dealers list. What up with that? Oh, well, Roman said Roman vouched for him. I was like, that's good enough for you? Don't you vouch your own people? Don't you vet your own list? Well, I trust what he says. Like, okay. And even after all the shit hit the fan with that guy, because that guy was not just dealings with me in between Nico and so on that were shady, but others that he tried to rip off. People in the watch community, people with voices on the various channels and others. You know, all the shit hit the fan back then. And I was like, you are aware, Georgia. In the end, she pulled his name. But she told me in the email, I have all the emails. She told me, she's like, I'm pulling it not because of anything else, but I just don't want to be bothered with this stuff anymore. I was like, well, that's what you call character, girl. Not, oh my God, I can't believe it. I looked it all up. I did my investigating, and thank you for the links that you sent me. Oh, I better remove this guy's name until further notice. No, just, I don't want to be bothered with this. All right. And when the shit hit the fan with Nico, me and Nico and everybody in the Watch World was talking about it. Tim Wright's channel, still the best watch chat channel out there, he was covering it, and Roman gave a $500 super chat to come on to the show. He was in his car. You know, Tim sees $500 super chat. He's like, okay, come on, you know. He made sure he got first in line, and he came on to defend Nico. So, I don't know. I think the phrase we need here, Roman, is now that things have fallen apart with Mr. Leonard. Mr. Vanderhorst is his real name. Vanderhorst. I don't know where Leonard comes from. Maybe he's a Leo. Wouldn't surprise me, actually. Seeing as it's all kind of gone to shit, I think the phrase is tough shit. That's the phrase. You made your bed, now fucking sleep in it. Anthony Chan, 9866. Never trust a fart when there's diarrhea. Yes, you might shart. Here's Brenny in the room. 27 out of 15, Nico trying to blackmail Hublot and slags Roman. Was there a new video? I don't know what video you're referring to. Charles Sampson, Brenny, you're a bulldog. Yeah, Brenny is... Listen, don't fuck with Brenny because Brenny doesn't give a shit. That's just keep that in mind with Brendan Boswell. He does not give a flying fuck. The guy is, I love him and all, and don't take offense to this man. He's a little unhinged. So there's the crazy man factor in the room, you know? He might just pull off his pants and run around naked singing and embarrass everybody at the party. So, like, he's got nothing to lose, Brenny, you know? So that's why he's kind of he's a warrior out there, because he doesn't take anyone's shit. And he literally doesn't give a flying fuck what you say about him. Great. He's got no reputation to uphold, which makes him the perfect warrior. Avinshit. Is that really your name? Avina? Okay. Always wary of loud, obnoxious people on the internet. At least Archie is funny. Bravo, Sheen. You have principles. So many of them on YouTube don't. None of them do. None of them do. I was mates with Adrian Barker back then. Then he had fucking Nico on his thing. And I was like, are you fucking out of your mind? There's no loyalty there. I fucking championed Britt Pierce from when she was nobody. And then when things turned, she turned into an absolute battle axe. This is zero loyalty. There's no character in any of these people. None. There's the Meredith. Hey, Meredith. Clash shows the difference between talking watches and living watches. Panerai men live it. Hey, just for you, I'm going to put on I had the Panerai on earlier. Maybe you came late. I've been wearing this thing. Thanks for the super chat, man. I've been wearing the stone dial, the Tiger Eye. Sold 2 of these this week. I got some really good shots of, so you can see the striations of the stone. I'll put that video out as soon as I can. I have a lot of videos to put out right now. Doing a lot of stuff. I'm backed up. I'm constipated with videos. There's the Palm. Yes. It's for the Meredith. Loving it. Big sexy Palm. What's better than a Panerai? Come on. The best ever. Yeah. Dave Green, 2009. I haven't seen much from Nico since Watches and Wonders, trying to sell that awful watch he designed. Yeah, the jump time thing. That was, yeah. Gross. It's funny though, huh? Andy Dufresne rumors. I love rumors. Nico's social media model is just outrage and gotcha scoops. Yeah, that was his whole thing. It always was. I mean, he knows a fair amount about watches. He does. Discerning people find that low rent or tire of it quickly. Beef Curtain 69. Name me a single YouTuber that is not in it for the money, whatever niche angle they've found. Brenny isn't. Brenny has a great job. He's got. I'm not going to say anything about his vocation, but he's a real working man, and he makes good money, good enough to buy himself a Daytona. That'll give you an idea. He has a business. He's not in it for the money. He doesn't get that many views. He's in it for the passion. That's the way I started. Only it became my main vocation. So now I have to make sure I, feed the monkey. You know what I mean? But there isn't a whole lot of money in it, to be honest with you. I mean, if there was crazy, crazy money, there is for Mr. Beast and people like that, But for most of us, it doesn't pay the kind of crazy money you might think it does. It doesn't. It really doesn't. When I started, I was a bit more probably like Brenny, because it was literally, I made my money as a music producer. I had a load of money in the bank. And I was just kind of sitting pretty. I was going to get married to this broad, and then that fell apart, and I found myself by myself and kind of nothing to do. And then COVID hit, and I was like, I'll just do this. It'll be a bit of fun. It was literally just a bit of fun. And I would never do the like and subscribe and hit the bell thing. I would never do that. For years. I only started doing that very, very recently, like in the past couple of months. Like, hey guys, like the video because I'm trying to fight the trolls. That's the only reason. 5 years later. But then it became kind of my main thing. So now I have to make sure that at least I get one video that's someone watches. I'll talk about Rolex or something, the wait list or something, and get some views in. I can get maybe a sponsor here or there, a watch sponsor want to pay me to film their watch, I don't think some of these watch YouTubers are more in it for the money than others, but I don't know if that's a big indictment. I think the indictment is when they have a lack of character, you know. That's when it gets rough. And I remember back during all of that shit with Nico, it wasn't really like, yeah, sure, Nico was a problem, but it was more my mates that jumped ship, you know. That was the hurtful part of it back then. They were the real traitors, the guys who were like apparently my mates, who I defended as well, you know. When people would reach out to me and scrutinize them, I'd defend them. They all just kind of ran for the hills once the shit hit the fan. That's not a friend. It's real easy to be your friend when things are going rosy, you know. And you think you have friends. You find out very quickly who your friends are when things go badly. That's when your real friends remain. And everyone else jumps ship. And that was the roughest part of that stuff for me, you know. Spencer Dreyer from BQ Watches had me at his house for dinner. Gave me watches and let me pay them off over months. Seemed like a really good friend. Then I get doxxed by Nico. Like rough, but real doxxed. No, like real. Your address, your phone number, your email, everything. I start getting threats from all these fucking Nico diehards. They're like the Trump crowd. Real mature. And then Nico goes on Paul Thorpe's thing. And Spencer's there. All right, Nico. How's it going? I'm like, wow. I'll remember all those words. Not, I'm going to go, Paul. Thanks for having me. I'm not going to sit on the screen with this guy who just doxed my mate. And all of that. No. Because business comes first. Gobbery, 50 euros. A single tear in Paulina's eye is worth 1 million of Romans. Nico's shenanigans for the entire decade. What are you talking about? Paulina's great. Let's get a Vienna ASAP. Preferably the Chris Kindlemart season, which is around the corner. Fairy tale captured in 8K. Let's go. It's a good idea, Gobbery. Yeah, I'm gonna do Vienna with Paulina. By the way, her video was doing extremely well. It surpassed the Carissa video. I thought the Carissa video was unbeatable, numbers wise, for, you know, having a pretty girl on the channel. But Paulina's already passed it. Stands to reason. She gets up and sings opera in the fucking piazza, for crying out loud. What more do you want? Like, content was just billowing off the screen. It's like so much good shit. And she was giving me shit, like not taking any of my comments and repudiating everything I said and so on. I was like, the crowd are going to love this because they'll be like, oh, finally somebody puts Busheen in his place. Nothing better than a hot Russian to do it. And then, of course, my friend Sujadin comes along, who is fresh from the stage at the Venice Film Festival. It was just a beautiful, perfect evening for content. Andre Production. This channel was amazing before all the dramas. It's not amazing now. I just talked about Paulina. You didn't like the Paulina video then, no? Or the other documentaries since? I made Ireland after that. I made Lisbon after that. You didn't like any of those videos, no? That's a shame. David Ann, Wizard is a good friend. Is he to you? You being facetious or are you serious? If he is, say hello from me. Where the hell is he? Joe LaFaro, friend in need is a friend indeed. Andy says, don't go to Vienna for the Chris Kindle Mart. It's a tourist trap. Sure, but it might be good for content, right? Andy would know. He knows Vienna. What's Brenny saying? You guys are all having a chat by yourselves. Never mind me. I'm just here to host your chat. Anyway, that's what's going on. None of it surprises me. I mean, like, listen, do we even need to talk about TVG? Remember how up his ass Roman was? Remember that? He went over to his new business with the $100 bill signed. It's tradition. Best of luck with your business. He was all up his ass as well. And that guy's a fucking criminal. Put away. Federal crimes. Next time we see that dude, it'll be like 2030. If we see him. Excuse me, guys. I had a big dinner earlier. Ate too much today and yesterday. I gotta cut it out. Charles, Sterling Moss videos with award-winning content. Well, not according to our friend here. The channel was amazing before the drama, remember? So what do you guys think? Any thoughts on this? I know it's kind of old hat at this point. I haven't talked about it in a long time, quite honestly. I think we've all moved on. It's just funny to see how, everything comes out in the wash in the end, doesn't it? Govery, did anyone get the Trump tourbillon? The audience must know. A few people bought the cheaper one. Michaela did a review on. I think Michaela did the only review I know of the Trump watch. Some friend of hers had bought it, and she borrowed it and did a video. I don't think I saw any other reviews on his watches, but I don't know who bought the $100,000 one. I assume his donors were just using it as a way to give him money without breaking the rules. That's what everybody thought. At the time, you want to give him $1 million, that's against the law to fund his campaign, but you could buy 10 watches. That's one way around it. Whether he delivers them or not, this is another thing. I love the way the president of the United States is just like the ultimate scammer. And we're all just like, yeah, fuck it, yeah, go for it, man. It's like he's being applauded for being a scam artist. That's great. Hilarious. That's enough of that cigar. I'm moving back to a Toscano. God, I love these things. The rump watch. Andy, yeah. I made a video on the rump watch. It was quite funny, but it got no views. And I got the feeling that maybe that stuff is getting suppressed because it was really, really bad for views. I thought it would attract attention, but it didn't. Ben Waits, 4384. A couple of sociopaths have found themselves in a money printing, high liquidity, black swan situation. COVID. Got lucky. Thought they were geniuses. Ego went to the moon. Roman and Nico. Yeah, it was a crazy moment, wasn't it? It was a frenzy. It was a frenzy going on to it, and there was a frenzy coming off of it. Remember? There were actual channels who hinged their entire narrative on the fact that the watch market had crashed. That was their only topic they could talk about. That got old fast. Really, they were just placating all the Rolex haters and the luxury watch haters out there. Britt Pierce fell into that one pretty hard. She realized she could finally get a lot of views by saying, oh my God, the world is coming to an end. I was like, slow down there. And I was told to bugger off. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm glad everything has kind of come back to where are we now? I mean, you can go back in the video archives and see all of us hanging out. You can see me on a stage in London with Roman. I'm in Nico. I was on one of Nico's episodes, actually, with all his crew there. Had dinner with Roman. I just stayed quiet. Can you believe it? Oisin was quiet. I just sat there and enjoyed my steak and my wine. Because it was all about Roman. He just wants to be the center of attention and tell everybody, like, all his stories. Fine. But it's crazy. Where are we now? So Roman is his channel is kind of suffocating slowly. Still putting a lot of work in. Still pumping out the content, I think. I don't know. I might be wrong. But even that video that he just put out about Nico was, or really about Hublot. It's quite informative, actually, about Hublot. But with several digs toward Nico. I don't even think it has 20,000 views yet. That's fairly weak. Nico himself is still putting out watch videos, and they're getting about 200,000 views, which at first you might go, oh my God, it's great. But for 2 million view subs, 200,000 is a little on the softer side. I remember he did a good video about Tudor years ago, where he wanted to talk about history of Tudor. And at the time, he was accustomed to getting 500,000-600,000 views per video at least. And he did the Tudor one, which was very kind of educational. But the history of Tudor, and it got like 200,000 views. And he was told by his team, yeah, you're not doing any more of that educational stuff. We got to get back to the yelling and telling everyone their watches are shit and all of that, because that gets the views. Remember, he told me that. It's like, wow, they're really playing. They're playing an aggressive game. Whoever his team are, they're playing an aggressive game on YouTube. You know, they want to see results. He has to deliver to his shareholders, so to speak. But just investigating earlier today, I was like, oh God, can I get 200,000? That's like me getting 20 or 30,000, about the same ratio, which is happening as well. Some of my videos aren't getting a whole lot of views. Maybe people are getting bored with this stuff. Poor old Jenny. Here's a fall from grace. She didn't do anything to deserve it. There's a woman who avoided the drama completely, somehow. Even when her husband put out that fucking stupid 90-part course. Do you remember that thing? It was like a course of how to get up the wait list or something, and it was in like 90 parts or something crazy. All you had to do was you just had to pay $200, and then you get access to all these videos that will reveal how you get up the wait list. I was like, what a scam. And I signed up for it. I was on with Timmy. And myself and Timmy and the boys, we all chipped in. And I bought a subscription just to check it out. We're a total scam. You can tell somebody how to get up the wait list in a 5-minute video. There's no crazy science to it. It's not like fucking some weight loss program or something. But I like that they tried to sell that to the public. God, what kind of state are we in here? Yeah, so where are we now? Paul Thorpe he's now a neo-fascist, hard right-winger, Tommy Robinson dude who fled the country and lives in Berrydorm with all the other Brits, ordering a pork sandwich, por favor. Chips and eggs, por favor. Completely gone from the watch world. The digital watch vault completely massacred to the ground. TPG's in jail. He got 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Feds moved in on him. Roman's now calling out Nico. God damn it. Sad times, I suppose. And watches have kind of come back to where they were, pretty much. Maybe a little higher. When I first got into it, if you were allocated a Submariner, the AD, it was worth about 1,500 to 2,000 more on the grey market. That's true now. Maybe a bit more. We just went through a weird tornado. Mr. Badgas, been with you since COVID. Took all the trash long ago. Took all that trash out, I assume you mean. Long ago. Yeah, it's old. I'm digging up old graves. It's just because it was this week and everybody was asking about it. I haven't spoken about this stuff in a long time. I don't know what else you want me to talk about. It's okay to reflect, no? Remember, everybody was tuning into TBG every week. A day in the life, right? I think it's a Paul Thorpe quote. This guy's got it all. Yeah, he had the whole book thrown at him in the end. Never trusted that guy. I never actually met him in person. I faced off with him on Timmy's thing. It was fairly brutal. But never actually met the guy in person. RD Ray. Andy, I do visit US and all. You guys are talking. Ben, every one of them short-term mentality crooks. Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, it's not crazy. It's crazy only because we were sold this idea of somehow them being upstanding guys. You know, trust was a word that was thrown around a lot. Loyalty, things like that. You know, so much for that. Gobbery, Benidorm weekend trip to speak with Darby on immigration. I know he's an immigrant. The irony is completely lost on him. He's a fucking immigrant. Veve, did you meet Danny in Spain? I met Danny, not in Spain. But I met Danny a couple of times. I have an interesting story about Danny. I'll tell you sometime when I'm more drunk. Yeah, I know Danny. For my sins. Oh, God. Actually, he wasn't a bad guy. I wonder if Paul Thorpe's speaking Spanish. You kidding me? Probably got 3 words in Spanish. Why do you move to Benidorm? So you don't have to speak Spanish. You can enjoy the nice weather, yeah? It's fucking hot. Oh, it's hot. It's really fucking hot. They asked me, do you like it? Spain. I'm like, it's hot. It's hot. It's really fucking hot. Don't you miss it? I'm like, what? London? Do I fuck? Dreary, rainy, every cunt with a long face. I wonder, I'd pay money to sit Paul Thorpe and Danny down and make them watch Sexy Beast by Jonathan Fraser. Just make them watch that movie and just look at them just to see their reaction. That would be golden. You happy here? Yeah. So this is it, Spanish Villa. Yeah, the old hacienda. Oh, it's lovely that. Nice and cold. I love this restaurant. Dee Dee, my lovely wife. Come Saturday, I'll have my pool back, swim in it. Used to dream about that. You know where? That's right, got in one. Inside. PM. I moved 500 miles and started to hassle a new Rolex dealer, starting over again. That's sometimes a good idea. Already been offered so-called hard-to-get steel models. Oh, that's great. It's not hard to find if you can wait a little. I always think that's a good idea. I should have mentioned that in my video about getting your Rolex, first Rolex. Going to different ADs, unrelated ADs. I regret not putting that in. You should go to like 3 or 4 or 5, if you can. What cigar am I smoking? I was smoking one of the new Montes, the open regatta ones. But now I'm back to my good old trusty Toscano. It's hitting the spot. Dish 2112. Paul ran around with major watches, motorcycles, Jeeps, etc. Did he make his money just with watches? Yeah, that's where he made his money. He was a watch dealer for years. He sold Rolex for years and years. You can say plenty of bad things about the man, but you can't say that he didn't earn his living. He did. He sold watches, sold Rolex since the 80s, I believe. He knows all the old references by heart. That was his trade. He made his money. In fact, when I got into his channel at first, I thought it was a guy who had retired and was no longer interested in making money because he had made his money. And he just wanted to tell old stories, reminisce, and they were fascinating. Some of them were fascinating about stolen watches or fakes or, interactions he had with people. It was fascinating. I didn't know that the guy was out to make a new dollar. That became evident later, but I'm a little naive like that. I give people the benefit of the doubt, right out of the gate. I'm a trusting person. Unfortunately, that's one of my flaws in my character. I tend to assume you're a nice person first until proven otherwise. Whereas I know a lot of people, especially here in Italy, who are the other way. They assume you're up to no good until you prove otherwise. Probably a smarter way of living. Let me put on another one of these watches. They're selling well. We've already ordered a second batch. Got to take off the Panerai. Sorry, Meredith. She's pretty, though. Love this thing. Especially the burgundy strap. It's a beautiful thing. But I'll put on the... What did I have on the green? No, I'll put on the green now. Stoned. Oh, there's malachite. There's the green. It's available on the site oshinamalichannel.com. That's real malachite stone, guys. This is not a $20,000 watch. This is under $1,000. If you want something that looks date-justy, obviously it's based on a date-just. But if you're not in the mood of spending $11,000, $12,000 on a date-just, and you can get a stone dial in the date-just, so it's got a particular thing to it. We're not reinventing the wheel here or anything. It's an H35 movement, just a regular workhorse movement, but it's good. 100 meters water resistance, fine. Nice. They wear well. I've been wearing them all week. It's a great thing wearing a slightly cheaper watch because you don't have to fucking worry about scratching it or anything. You can just be like, fuck it. Just relax. There's the bells. That means it's 12. Give us an upvote, guys. Make sure to upvote. Give me a thumbs up. I bet Thorpe lives in a camper wagon right on the beach, like Brad Pitt in F1. No, I think he got himself an apartment there, probably. He has a wife and grown-up kids. I don't think they're with him, but I think the wife is. I imagine. And probably he had dogs as well, right? He's just set himself up in a new place. He had to run away from Britain, from all that multiculturalism. He had to go to Benidorm to find the Brits. Bet he was wearing his poppy the past couple of weeks. Right? I'd wear a poppy to remember all the guys back in World War One and Two. God, there was some live stream I was listening to. It was them. He was complaining that somebody wasn't wearing a poppy because he finds it offensive. Jesus. There's a bunch of them on the screen. There's like 6 of them. And somebody wrote in going, why, some American probably, why do you guys wear the poppy every year? No one could answer. Nobody on the panel knew. Nobody could actually give a straight answer. It's like you don't know anything about the history of that. That's fitting. Because it's not about the history and the details. It's about the jingoism. And that's why some people choose not to wear it. Because it used to be about patriotism and remembrance, but now it's about jingoistic feelings. Jingoism is a different beast altogether, isn't it? Breaking news, Trump rolls back tariffs on dozens of food items, including coffee, beef, bananas, and spices. I love the way he keeps rolling back. If that was a Democrat, they'd be like, you're such a flip-flopper. He always rolls back. He threatens, it's saber rattling, then he rolls it back. Oh, I'm just kidding. Now watch the stock market go back up. All my mates can make a little money. Nico Leonard. Poppy was actually a Canadian idea. Well, the poem was a Canadian. It was John McCrae. The poem was a Canadian doctor in the military on the Western Front. But the idea to use it was actually an American and French lady. There were 2 ladies. It was their idea. They wanted to raise money for veterans. It was a French idea. Think of it. That's how to make the British blood boil. Took a while to catch on, but it did. That was actually the first, one of the first times major money was raised for charity. They raised like a million or 2 million British pounds, which at the time was just unheard of. It was a huge success. And it just caught on. And of course, the poppy doesn't grow naturally in the UK. So they had to make factories, poppy factories. They're still there, some of them. Of course, eventually, these days, you just buy a little piece of paper that looks like a poppy. You know, buy an actual poppy, unless you want to be real fancy. The problem these days is people see it as just blind patriotism, like wearing it also supports the Iraq War and the Falklands and all of the other stuff. And some people are like, not so much. I'm gonna skip it this time around. which is their right. Anyone want to disagree with that? It's your right to wear it or not to wear it, because you live in a democracy, correct? Right. New batch of Epstein emails. Is there a new batch just coming out? Boy, it's going to be a rough ride. I think Trump is going to address the nation tonight. My guess is it's a distraction of some major sort, or it's him handing it over to JD Vance. Let's see what he's up to. Or to one of his sons or something. He's got to bail because it's going to come out. The cracks are beginning to show. He was having a great time at Epstein. They were having a lovely time. You know, if he was squeaky clean, you'd be like, nah. But this is the guy who said you can grab the women by the, you know. He used to sneak into the pageants, you know, the Teen USA dressing rooms and boast about it. It's not a far stretch to assume. There's been plenty of horrific accusations, if you believe the women. Problem is, we don't believe the women for some reason. Why is that a thing? Why don't we listen to the women? We don't need any Epstein files if we just listen to them. But no, they just hate him. Got it. Let's set the time of this watch. 12:09. How many of you do this? Like you said, it's the next minute, and then you sit and you wait. It's 12:09. I'm waiting for 12. I set it to 12:10. I'm gonna just hit the crown. That's how we do it, right, fellas? And that minute always goes on forever because you're like, come on. Just keep tapping my phone to wake it up so I can see 12:10. I can see it on the screen. There it's going. Click. Screw in the crown. Bob's your auntie. Flanders Fields, that's right. Jock. And Flanders Fields, the poppy did blow, right? Flanders Fields. He wasn't even, he was a doctor. He just he liked to write poems on the side. It's a nice poem. Jim Patterson, Afghanistan no longer produces the poppy. Not any longer. Wear a poppy if you want, but don't force. I would wear one. I would wear it. I mean, there's no reason to wear it here. But if I was living in England, I would definitely wear it, not because of the Gulf War or all the various different fucking disasters. I would think about the boys back in 1914 or, the Allies. Different species, man. Beef curtains. Who's being forced? No one's being forced with beef curtains, but you will get scrutinized. Don't you remember the Waldorf videos when he's walking up to police officers and stuff on the street going, "You're not even wearing a poppy." Remember that? Trying to shame these guys for not wearing the poppy. Fucking, you know what? We're not wearing it because of guys like you. because it reminds us of guys like you, not because it reminds us of fellas who died in Normandy because we don't want to be associated with dudes like you. That's why. What am I drinking tonight, Raz? I'm just having a little bit of stupid whiskey that I picked up down the street. It's nothing good. I'm not even going to show it. Andy says, Epstein, focus on the drug war in Venezuela. Yeah, whatever. Just to distract. Hey, they've wanted Venezuela for a long time. It's the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine is back on the table, kids. Full on. It was a to be continued. Now they've picked up where they left off. Just go read the Monroe Doctrine so you know what their plan is. Venezuela have a lot of oil. There's a lot of oil down in the south of America. Untapped. If you want to know what it's all really about, read Oil by Upton Sinclair. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Jock says, I'm a US citizen. I wear a poppy on my lapel in November for remembrance. I like it for that reason. Yeah. Hey, great. It's nice to remember the fallen. Absolutely. I made documentaries about it. I made four documentaries. Yeah. On the bravery of the men back in World War I and World War II. I assume you're not remembering the men who, I don't know, went under Tony Blair's instruction over to Iraq to kill families based on a bunch of bullshit. Maybe you are. I don't know. I better be careful. Fuck. Jim Patterson's. I'm an oil man. You just want me to go into it because I'm talking about Upton Sinclair, right? Ladies and gentlemen, if I tell you I'm an oil man, I think you will agree. I do my own drilling. Mr. Plainview, a question. Where is your wife? Well, she died in childbirth. It's just me and my son now. What is your offer? 1/6. And a guarantee to start drilling within 10 days. And that's an offer you won't get from anyone else. It doesn't take much to get me to do Daniel Plainview. What anybody watching, he's referring to the movie There Will Be Blood, which is based on the novel Oil by Upton Sinclair, starring Daniel Day-Lewis. And yes, we all the actors, aspiring actors, guys at home who fancy themselves as cheap D-level impersonators like me, love to quote. Just because it was such a powerful performance, such a powerful movie. Yeah. It'll blow gold all over yeah, if the men are too busy up here at your church, they can't, then the well can't produce and blow gold all over the place. Feve, any plans to film back in Ireland? I did a 2-part documentary in Ireland. I was in Ireland 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I filmed a lot. I filmed for 6 weeks, non-stop filming in the West and in my hometown of Dublin and surrounding areas. Just go back through my videos. Ireland Part 1, Part 2. Looking for Grace, or Finding Grace O'Malley, I think it's called. I keep changing the title, looking for the right title. Because my ancestor is Grace O'Malley, the Pirate Queen of Ireland. So I kind of go back after all these years being away. And it's been a lot of years. Like before Italy, I was in New York for 20 years. So it's like half my life I was away. More than half. So I go back. And I talk to a lot of people, do a lot of great interviews. And I meet with Stephen McGonigal, one of the greatest watchmakers in the world. I meet with my old friend Dave Moore, who's now one of the most famous voices on Irish radio. I go to Trinity College. I go to Glendalough. And the whole time there's this theme in the background that Grace is watching me. She knows I'm back. And I have to go find her. So I eventually go out to the west, and that's Part 2. Out to Clew Bay and Clare Island there. Galway. It's good. You better buy a bottle of wine, though, because it's like each part is 90 minutes long. So it's 3 hours in total. It's quite it's a lot of stuff. But you might like it. Not sure I'll get back there again soon for more. I was there at Christmas last year. Daniel, the wormhole. Yeah, I saw the wormhole. Fucking crazy. All right, is Dirk live? Sorry, go over to Dirk. You guys like when I go over to Dirk? I hope so. Yeah, he's live. Why don't we all go over to him? Because sometimes I do this Friday thing. I could use these Fridays for better, for editing. You'll notice my subs went up and so on. I just put out some nice videos like buying your first Rolex, etc., and they get good views. Doing this Friday doesn't help the channel at all. It's just fun for us. Sometimes I just do it to kind of bring you guys over to say hello to Dirk and get talking with him. Irish American lad. Best guy ever. Andy Dufresne and the chowder. Yeah, so there's a little culinary theme as well. I'm looking for the best chowder in Ireland in those documentaries. They're fun. Proud of them. There's the link for Dirk's live stream. He's currently live. When I get off here, I'm going to go straight over to him. So come over and give him a sub and help him grow his channel. It's still small, but he's a lot of fun. He's a very wise and worldly fellow. He's a nicer person than me, quite honestly. So there's a few reasons. LJ. There Will Be Blood. Great period drama. Oh, man. It's so good. You should look, LJ, you should look up the deleted scene where they lose the tool in the well and they have to go fishing for it. You're going to love it. It's on YouTube. It was removed from the movie, but you're going to love it. So good. In your church of the world, are you familiar with the term backslider? A lot of men have joined the have joined Eli at the Church of the Third Revelation. Maybe if you put more of your faith in the Holy Spirit, these misfortunes would stop coming to you, Daniel, and you wouldn't lose the tool in the well and have to go fish. I know you say you're busy, but I believe that one has to find the time. But you're on a very bad path, Daniel. Is that so? It's my favorite line of all. It's not even in the movie. We got caught. And then they finally fish the tool out. And they get it. We got it. And he's there smoking. He's like, I think Eli is a lunatic. And I think you're a sad little man. I'm glad I was able to make money off your land where you couldn't. I want you to go away now. Go away and don't come back. You'll know when the well comes in. Strangely, he's the more moral character. Abel, who's the guy talking to him, is the father of the kids, beats his kids. He's religious, but he beats his kids. Whereas greedy Daniel, who's obsessed with money and profit, is actually the one who cares for the children more. It's a big lesson in that fucking film. Big lesson. Look at what happened with that. I mentioned it last week. That's everywhere now. All over fucking TikTok and Instagram. That woman was calling around different clergies, different churches, looking for baby formula for her kid. And they were all turning her down until eventually she called a mosque. And the mosque were like, where are you? What kind of formula do you need? Huge lesson, man. If your eyes aren't open to that lesson, I don't know what to tell you. But just go watch There Will Be Blood. It's the same messages conveyed in a way better form. All right. No more hitting. Thank you, Jim Patterson. No more hitting, right? No more hitting. All right. I'm going to go over to Dirk. I'll see you guys there in a second. The link is in the chat. You want to go straight over to him. We'll have a chat. Our usual Friday night bash. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the super chats. Let me make sure I got them all. Mr. Badgas. Yes. Gabri. Yes. The Meredith, as always. Watch me if you can. You had a ton of them. Yeah. London Rob. Ray, of course. And loads from Watch Me if you can. Thank you, sir. The link is in the chat, guys. Or just leave it running and it might pop you over there automatically. Hopefully, if this YouTube stuff works. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. Peace, love.